Am I wrong for refusing to forgive my parents who raised me like a servant, only for the truth to surface at my brother's wedding? My name is Mia. I'm 24. For 24 years, I lived as if I belonged to no one but my parents' expectations. I rose at 4:45 every morning to clean, cook, and wash, while my brother Logan slept until 11 a.m. in his king-size bed. My parents had told me something I accepted for nearly 2 decades. Some children are born to be served, others are born to serve. And I was the latter. I never questioned it. Not until the bride's father, whom I had never met, looked at me during a family photo and trembled. He pulled me aside and asked a question that upended everything I thought I knew. Do you know who your real mother is? Before I continue, if this story resonates, please like and subscribe, but only if you truly want to know what happened next. If you're watching, leave a comment telling me where you're from and the current time there. Let me take you back to Logan's wedding morning, which I expected to be the worst day of my life. We lived in a 2-story colonial in Fairfield County, Connecticut. Outside, the neighborhood gleamed with manicured lawns, European cars, and families of surgeons, lawyers, and hedge fund partners. The Hawthorns looked like the perfect American family, but inside, it was a nightmare. My bedroom was the basement. A concrete floor, no windows, a thin mildew-scented mattress, and a furnace buzzing inches from my head. The only warmth in winter. In summer, it was unbearably hot. Every morning, 4:45 a.m., my alarm went off. By 5, I was upstairs scrubbing granite countertops, preheating the Viking stove, and retrieving eggs and bacon from the sub-zero fridge. Evelyn once bragged to her book club, "I know every vein in that Italian Calicut marble. I polish it daily." Charles arrived around 7:15, Wall Street Journal in hand, Tag Heuer gleaming. He would sit, never looking at me, and ask, "Is it finished?" "Yes, Mr. Hawthorne. Today's coffee is weak. Make it stronger tomorrow," I'd reply. That was the extent of our conversation. 24 years of monosyllables and instructions. I set his plate with fine china, Wedgwood with silver rims, and returned to the kitchen. My seat was never at the table. I ate leftover scraps by the sink. The basement and chores were one thing, but the way they referred to me was worse. Logan's room was on the second floor with bay windows, a 75-inch Samsung TV, a PlayStation 5, and a walk-in closet bigger than my entire basement. He went to St. Thomas Academy, a $52,000 a year school with lacrosse and college prep. I was homeschooled, and Charles told neighbors I was thriving. In reality, I learned reading from discarded periodicals and math by counting grocery change. When Logan turned 19, Charles gave him a BMW. I didn't have a license, or even identification. Documents lost in a fire. Evelyn told me when I questioned why I couldn't enroll in school. Logan had an American Express Platinum, no limit. I owned 3 adjusted hand-me-down gowns. At dinner, Logan spoke about friends and academics. Charles nodded. Evelyn refilled his glass. I waited in the doorway to clear plates. When I asked to join the table at 14, Evelyn laughed. The table only seats 3. It sat 6. That night, I realized the truth. I was never really part of this family. Only the scenery, until Grace noticed me. At the bar, she asked, "You're Logan's sister, right? Why aren't you sitting with your family?" Evelyn immediately intervened. "Mia prefers to help others. She's shy, happier in the background." Grace nodded politely. Then I saw him. Grace's father, Harrison Prescott, standing with a scotch, staring at me. Pale, jaw tight, he asked softly, "Do you know who your birth mother is?" The question didn't make sense. I stammered, confused. He excused himself, leaving the room, phone to his ear. Evelyn's grin froze, knuckles tight around her champagne glass. The night before the wedding, I sat alone in the basement, listening to laughter upstairs. Evelyn toasting with sisters, Logan's friends clinking glasses. I pressed my black uniform and white apron on my lap and held the only photo I had with my family, me, 5 years old, at the edge of the frame while Charles, Evelyn, and toddler Logan posed by the Christmas tree. I was alone. 24 years, not one photo with my parents. Why? Harrison Prescott's words replayed in my mind. Someone was looking for me, but nobody ever had before. Tomorrow, I would serve champagne at my brother's wedding, invisible as always, or so I thought. I woke at 4:30 a.m. and began preparing breakfast. Eggs Benedict, orange juice, s'mores board, fine china set. I steamed Grace's Vera Wang dress, $14,500, meticulously smoothing every wrinkle. Evelyn entered, silk robe, Hair and rollers. Don't touch the beading. Imported crystal is worth more than you. Charles shouted from downstairs. Mia, where is my coffee? Evelyn smirked and left. I held the steamer, staring at the dress and the life I wasn't allowed. Something changed inside. Small, irreversible. This would be the last time. The Ritz-Carlton Grand Ballroom was a fairy tale. Crystal chandeliers, white roses cascading everywhere, 220 gilded chairs, a 14-piece jazz band. I entered through the loading dock with champagne, moving constantly, keeping my gaze low. Guests passed, dressed in designer gowns and bespoke suits. Logan motioned me over for shrimp at his table. Housekeeper, he said to a friend. The words pierced me. I had learned long ago, no reaction meant less punishment. Then I felt it. Someone watching. Harrison Prescott, standing at the back, studying me intently. The ceremony began. Grace glided down the aisle in her 18-foot train. Logan recited his vows. I watched from the rear, invisible, clutching champagne. For a moment, I imagined a different life. Sitting in the front row, introduced as Mia, sister, not housekeeper. But that life did not exist until something shifted. Hope stirred in me. During reception, I served the Prescott family. Harrison stopped me, grasped my wrist, and asked quietly, "Do you know who your true mother is?" My answer, "I live with the Hawthorns. They raised me." His expression cracked. He quickly left, phone to his ear. Evelyn and Charles watched. Charles's face hardened with fear I had never seen before. Family portraits. The photographer pointed at me. "Is she a family member?" Silence. Harrison spoke firmly. "Yes, she's family. Mia, come stand beside me." My legs felt foreign as I walked toward him. Charles's jaw tightened in barely contained rage. Harrison placed his hand on my shoulder. Warm, steady. "This is where you belong." The photographer captured the image. Harrison's eyes welled. The chin, my God. He dialed again. "I know it's her. Get the file. Prepare a DNA kit tonight." Charles grabbed my arm. "Don't tell anyone about our family, or I'll throw you out. No money, no clothes, nothing. Homeless within a week." Evelyn appeared, heels clicking. "After the reception, you'll clean and speak to no one. We're your family. We saved you. Do not embarrass us again." They left me there, trembling among champagne crates. "If you want," his words echoed relentlessly in my mind. Without papers, I didn't exist. Yet Harrison Prescott seemed certain I did. He believed I mattered. The question was, who was I really? I returned to the reception floor. The jazz band played, couples swayed, and Logan and Grace stood at the center, foreheads touching in the perfect image of newlywed bliss. Charles and Evelyn laughed with guests, performing their roles as devoted parents. I picked up my tray and moved through the crowd, but my hands trembled uncontrollably. Charles was right. Without documentation, without proof, I was nothing. If I tried to leave, I'd be apprehended by police within days, a vagrant with no name, no history, no one to claim me. That was my reality, always had been, always would be. I drifted toward the ballroom edge, toward the exit. Maybe I could slip away, vanish into the night, and let whatever happened happen. Who would notice? No one would miss me. "Mia," I turned. Harrison Prescott stood behind me, his face unreadable. Concern, grief, something else? "May I speak with you privately, just for a moment?" His voice trembled. I glanced toward the family table. Evelyn's smile was frozen. "I don't think I should." "Please," he insisted, voice cracking. "It's important. I've been searching for someone for a long time." He pulled an old photograph from his jacket pocket, soft edges worn from years of handling. A young woman held an infant. Dark chestnut hair, green eyes, my eyes. "Do you recognize anyone in this picture?" he asked quietly. My throat closed. I didn't know, but something deep inside stirred, something like memory. Harrison led me to the terrace overlooking the hotel gardens. Inside, the reception continued, clinking glasses and laughter. Out here, only the distant hum of traffic and my own heartbeat. He held the photograph toward me again. I could see clearly. A young woman, mid-20s, tired but radiant, holding a baby swaddled in pink. "This is my sister, Catherine," Harrison said. "And the baby is her daughter, Mia Langford Prescott." I stared. "I don't understand." 24 years ago, Catherine's baby was taken from Stanford Hospital, kidnapped from the nursery. My sister spent 5 years searching, hiring investigators, working with the FBI, never stopping in her belief that her daughter was alive. She died when the baby would have been 6, heartbroken, grief-stricken. "I'm so sorry," I whispered. "I don't see what this has to do with me." "Mia," Harrison said, eyes steady. "The baby's name was Mia." Green eyes like Catherine's. Your nose, your chin, the shape of your mouth. It's identical. I stepped back. Mr. Prescott, I think you're mistaken. Tears streamed down his cheeks. When I saw you at the rehearsal dinner, I knew. I knew. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small plastic DNA kit. Please let me take a sample. If I'm wrong, I'll never bother you again. But if I'm right, the people in that ballroom are not your family. They stole you. The words hung in the air. Stole you. For 24 years. I had been told I was worthless, born to serve. Now a stranger told me I might have been kidnapped, that my so-called family could be criminals, that I might have a real family who wanted me. I can't, I said, backing away. Mia, please, Harrison said gently, urgency in his voice. I have a lab on standby, AABB certified, gold standard. Results in 48 hours. If the test matches, you are Catherine's daughter, my niece, and the legal heir to the trust she set up before she died. The trust? I asked, stunned. She never gave up hope you would be found. $13.5 million has been accumulating for you over 24 years. But this isn't about money. It's about truth, justice, and giving my sister peace, knowing what happened to her child. Inside, the band played a slow ballad. I saw Evelyn scanning the room for me, for her property. I thought of the basement, the rules, the cane in the pantry. 24 years of being told I was nothing. Then I thought of Catherine Prescott, dying of grief, never knowing her child survived. I met Harrison's eyes. What do I need to do? Open your mouth, he said. The next 48 hours were the longest of my life. I continued my routine, waking at 4:45, scrubbing, cooking, cleaning. But everything felt different. Every time Charles barked orders, I saw him as a man who might have stolen me. Every criticism from Evelyn reminded me of Harrison's words. Why is the coffee bitter? Evelyn demanded. Nothing, Mrs. Hawthorne, just tired. She poured the coffee down the sink. Make another pot. Pay attention this time. I folded laundry, washed dishes, and carried Harrison's slip of paper in my pocket, his personal number in blue ink. Logan and Grace left for Bali, the house quieter but no less oppressive. That night, my phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Results are in. Meet tomorrow, 10 a.m., Cafe on Main Street, HP. My heart raced. I replied, I'll be there. The next morning, I told Evelyn I needed cleaning supplies. She barely looked up. Back by noon. Guests for lunch. Yes, Mrs. Hawthorne, I said, walking out toward the truth. The cafe was small, with exposed brick, mismatched furniture, and fresh espresso scent. Harrison was already seated, eyes red from lack of sleep, a manila envelope before him. Thank you for coming, he said. What do the results say? He slid the envelope across the table. I opened it, hands trembling. The document was technical, filled with calculations, but one section was highlighted, combined paternity index 99.98%. Conclusion: Mia Hawthorne is the biological daughter of Catherine Elise Prescott, deceased. I read it 3 times. The words didn't change. You're my niece, Harrison said softly. You are Catherine's daughter. You are Mia Langford Prescott. The room tilted. I gripped the table edge. This is real. I've contacted the FBI. The 2002 cold case is reopened. Charles and Evelyn Hawthorne will be investigated. If they acquired you illegally, they will be prosecuted. Human trafficking, document fraud, child endangerment, they could face 12 to 18 years. I sat back, DNA report clutched. 24 years of basement life, of being told I was born to serve, all a lie. I wasn't worthless. I had a real family, a mother who loved me, who died never knowing I survived. Finally, the truth was emerging. This was the moment that changed everything. For 24 years, I had believed I deserved nothing. In 48 hours, a DNA test shattered that lie. Now I had a choice: walk away quietly or let the truth come out and make Charles and Evelyn face the consequences. What would you do? Comment below. 1 week later, the trap was set. Harrison invited the Hawthorne family to his Greenwich estate, an 11-bedroom mansion on 6 acres, officially to discuss business for Logan. Charles was ecstatic. This is it, he crowed. Harrison Prescott wants to bring me into his circle. Evelyn spent 4 days preparing her pale blue Armani suit, pearls, and highlighted hair. Logan and Grace returned early from Bali. No one suspected a thing. I was there, of course, to serve refreshments. I didn't argue. The Prescott estate was immense: 22-foot ceilings, oil paintings, gilded frames, museum-quality furniture. Harrison greeted everyone warmly. Please make yourselves comfortable, he said. I hung back near the doorway. Harrison's subtle nod met mine. The FBI was in place. Evidence was ready. Charles and Evelyn had walked straight into the reckoning they had evaded for 24 years. A housekeeper brought tea service. Evelyn accepted, flawless in her practiced grace. "This is a beautiful home, Harrison," she said. "Just stunning." "I wanted to discuss something before Logan arrives," he said evenly. "Something about Mia?" Charles's cup rattled. "Yes," Harrison gestured toward me. "She's been part of your family for a long time, hasn't she?" Evelyn quickly replied, "Since she was a baby. We adopted her, gave her everything, a home, food, education." "Adopted?" Harrison asked, calm but firm. "County records show no adoption paperwork, no birth certificate, no social security, no hospital records." Evelyn's practiced smile faltered. "What are you implying, Harrison?" "I'm implying she has no legal identity." "Where did she come from?" Charles stood abruptly. "I don't know what game you're playing, but I won't tolerate accusations." "It's not an accusation. Yet," Harrison said, opening his leather portfolio. 2 documents slid onto the table: the DNA report and a photocopied FBI report stamped confidential. "This DNA confirms Mia is a 99.98% match to my late sister, Catherine Prescott. She is her biological daughter. I checked every hospital within a 250-mile radius. No fire, no lost records, no birth records for a Mia Hawthorne." The door to the next room opened. A man in a gray suit stepped in, followed by a woman holding a badge. "Charles Hawthorne, Evelyn Hawthorne. I'm Special Agent Carter with the FBI. We have questions regarding your daughter," he said, his voice flat and official. Charles stumbled back, face ashen. Evelyn began to cry. I watched as the walls finally closed in on the people who had claimed to be my parents. What happened next moved quickly. Special Agent Carter presented a warrant. His partner, Agent Reyes, began reading the Miranda rights. "Charles Hawthorne, Evelyn Hawthorne, you are under arrest for suspicion of human trafficking, document fraud, and child endangerment. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court." Charles tried to flee. 3 steps. Agent Carter caught him and pinned him against the wall. The man who had terrorized me for 24 years, starved me, beaten me, told me I was nothing, whimpered like a child as the handcuffs clicked around his wrists. Evelyn collapsed onto the sofa. Mascara streaked down her cheeks. "Mia," she wailed. "Mia, please tell them this is a mistake. We're your family. We raised you." I looked at her. The woman who had slapped me for asking questions, locked me in the basement, told me I was born to serve. Calmly, I said, "You raised me as a servant. You never treated me like family. You gave me a mattress on a concrete floor. You took my identity, my childhood, my mother." Evelyn's face crumpled. "We didn't know. We thought you knew." Charles cut in, harsh even in handcuffs. "You knew exactly what we were doing. Don't pretend otherwise." At that moment, the front door opened. Logan and Grace returned from Bali, tanned and smiling, until they saw the FBI and their parents in handcuffs. Grace's smile vanished. What the hell is going on? Within a month, federal charges were filed. Charles and Evelyn Hawthorne were indicted on human trafficking, document fraud, and child endangerment. The investigation revealed they had purchased me from an underground adoption network in 2002 for $18,500 cash. The network was long closed, but the FBI still had records. My name appeared on a ledger between a price and delivery date, like inventory. The trial lasted 5 months. I testified 3 times. Charles claimed innocence, saying he was told I was an orphan and that he had simply given me a better life. The jury didn't believe him. Evelyn tried to blame coercion, claiming she had wanted to treat me better but couldn't. The jury didn't believe her either. Final sentencing. Charles received 20 years in federal prison, Evelyn 14. Their assets were frozen. The Fairfield County home, the one with the sub-zero fridge, Calacatta marble, and the basement where I had slept for 24 years, was seized to cover legal fees and potential restitution. Logan's world collapsed. Harrison Prescott withdrew all financial support. The $240,000 wedding was his debt. His job at Prescott Properties ended immediately. Grace filed for divorce 2 weeks later. The man who had grown up as a prince was suddenly alone, unemployed, drowning in debt. And me? For the first time, I was free. 8 months later, Logan called. I almost didn't answer. His voice was thin, unfamiliar, not the confident golden boy I had served. "I need to talk to you." "About what?" I asked. "I'm in trouble. The apartment's gone, the car's gone. Grace's lawyer is asking for damages because of emotional distress from being associated with my family. I can't get a job anywhere. Can you help me? Just until I get back on my feet. There it was. 24 years of being treated like furniture, and now he needed me. I said slowly, "In all the years we lived in the same house, did you ever help me? Did you ever stand up for me? Did you ever treat me like a sister? You knew and didn't care. I was convenient. I made your life easier. Now you have no idea how to survive. I'm not going to help you, Logan. Not because I hate you, but because you need to learn something you never did. Actions have consequences, and so does silence." I hung up. My hand shook, but my heart was steady. For the first time, I had set a boundary, and I intended to keep it. 4 months later, the inheritance came through. Harrison's lawyers verified my identity and activated the trust Catherine had established in 2002, Mia Langford Prescott Trust. Value, $13,962,843. Status, active. I read the number 7 times before it felt real. Harrison drove me to the bank. We sat in a private office with mahogany furniture and oil paintings. $13.5 million. But it wasn't the money that changed me. It was the name, Mia Langford Prescott. The name my mother had given me before I was stolen. Harrison helped me move into a guest suite at his Greenwich estate. King-sized bed, rose garden view, Egyptian cotton sheets, a bathroom bigger than my old basement. The first night, I couldn't sleep, touching the walls, running my hands across the curtains, reminding myself this was real. Harrison enrolled me in a college prep program. My lack of formal education didn't matter. Resources and tutors were available for survivors of trafficking to rebuild their lives. A year later, Yale University accepted me on a full scholarship through a program for human trafficking survivors. I cried for an hour holding the letter. In the estate archives, I found a handwritten note from my mother, Catherine, dated 2002, the year I was taken. "My darling Mia, if you read this, know you were the best gift I ever received. From the moment you were born, I knew you were meant for great things. Whatever happens, remember, you are loved, you're wanted, you are enough." I read it every morning. For 24 years, I thought I was nothing. Born to serve, undeserving. Now, I know the truth. I was born to be loved, and I intend to spend my life helping others feel the same. Many details have been dramatized to convey life lessons, but situations like this occur more often than we realize. Every year, thousands of missing child cases remain unsolved. Every day, someone is treated as less than human by those who are supposed to love them most. If this story resonated, please like and subscribe.